Frank Spillers, founder of Experience Dynamics, and it's time for this week's UX Power Up. Today I'd like to talk about the topic of user advocacy. When we talk about user experience, it seems like a lot of people forget about the user part in user experience. And one of the foundations of usability is to advocate for users. I like to say, think like your users, which is kind of a way of stepping into your user's shoes. And the thinking part is how might they process information, what confusions might they have, what might be social or emotional states that impact their use, your user's sitting there, they got pasta burning on the oven, baby screaming, that kind of thing. So in user advocacy, there's a really interesting mantra you can use, and it's something that Arnie Lund, the user experience director at Microsoft, said. He said, know thy users and you are not thy user. Know thy user and you are not thy user. That's what Arnie Lund said. So one of the tips that I've found that can help you stay in a user advocacy position is the language that you use. All too often, I'm in meetings with teams across the country and globally, and I find that there's a lot of I-ing going on, first person. It's I would, like to do this, or if I clicked on this, I would find this. And from a usability standpoint, we're not really interested in what you, the product manager, or the business analyst, or the designer, or the developer, or even the usability specialist care or think about the design. What we're interested in is what the user would do. So when we're making design decisions, it's important to be really clear about the language we're using. And if you're talking on behalf of the user, then it's better for you to say, the user might find this confusing, or would, if you're sure if you've done usability testing, then it's, you can state it as a fact, and it's nice to reference the fact. Like in usability testing, we found that users XYZ, found it confusing, whatever. So a little tip on our language, but it can be a powerful thing because language shapes our consciousness and it shapes our decision making. A lot of people get stuck in that first person. The benefit of user-centered design and of usability is stepping out of that first person and referencing a third person point of view. The user might, as opposed to I, because it's really hard to argue when someone says, I think this is blah, blah, blah. And it's like, we don't care what you think, Know thy user and you are not thy user. And if you're watching this UX Power Up, you're definitely not your user, right? You're someone that's designing or deciding on behalf of users. So think about your users, think like your users, and thanks a lot for joining me. We'll see you next time.